right. Okay. So my name is Shrad, and I am the CEO of Wagepoint. And just like most CEOs, my whole day is filled with problems. That's all that people come to me for, problems and problem solving. So today I thought, instead of talking about more problems and lessons I've learned from all my failures, because I have a list of them, I thought today instead I would, at some point when this works, I would tell you guys about my unfuck-ups, which are basically stuff that I've done right, or stuff we got right at Wagepoint. But then I was talking to the wonderful people at TechTO, and Ashley said, no, Shrad, this isn't about what we got right. This is about what you got right. So then I said, really? Oops. I said, then I'm going to talk about me. And also, this is kind of what taking credit feels like, so I'm going to enjoy myself. I hope you're okay with that. Because like how most people say in companies, when you win together, but when you lose, it's all my fault. So in this case, I'm going to try to mix it up a bit and just tell you guys a little bit about Wagepoint. So just in case you want some background, some credibility, maybe you're like, what a cool, tiny-looking guy. Maybe I want to buy some software from him. Here's the story so far. So yes, we work in payroll. It's the sexiest business known to mankind, if you haven't heard of it. We have about 40 Wagepointers all around the world. We have 6,000 customers in North America, paying 60,000 direct deposits every month, and we move $1.2 billion in annualized payrolls. That's billion with a B. And I don't keep any of it, I promise. So long story short, one of the things that I'm sure everyone wants to know is, how did this all start? Why did I begin on this crazy journey? And it all started in a little town in Halifax. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that side of Canada. There's some Canadians that don't know that it's in Canada. So I'm going to tell you it's way out on the East Coast. So I was like, this is 2010. I just decided, I was like done. I was like, that's it. I'm not working for anyone else anymore. I want to influence decisions and make change. And I just want to do something that I actually love. And so I had $18,000 in the bank. And I said, what can I do with $18,000? And I said, well, Mark, I can buy some time. So I decided that I was going to spend a year essentially. Now, my mom said it was goofing off, but actually what it was is I took a year to basically decide what business I wanted to start. And I'm like Mark, like a business guy. Sorry to pick on you, Mark. But a business guy, essentially, at the end of the day, I love business. I love the exchange of value for money. I'm not as attached to the idea itself. And so that actually brings me to my first lesson that I want to share with you, my first unfuck-up, if you will. And that is not waiting for the perfect idea, because that is what may happen if you do. So at Wagepoint, for example, we've always known that it's a hyper-competitive space. I mean, one of our customers is 70 years old. It's like old as my grandpa, yo. That's a hard decision to make. Like when you're looking around and you're scanning, you're like, what should I do? People get afraid of competitors all the time. But the thing that you have to remember, and this is really, really important, so everyone lean in for 1 second. It doesn't really matter if they exist as long as you can do it better. And you just need to believe that. You need to believe that at the end of the day, you can deliver something that is better than your competitors. And in our case, with payroll software, we knew that customers were being treated like numbers in some of the other competitive environments. So we said, well, what if we just made it a little bit more friendly, a little bit more fun, a little bit more personal? What if we actually took care of the customers? And some of them do a really great job, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, we knew we could create a wedge in the market. We also did a ton of customer development. The first little while, we did I think before we wrote our first line of code, we had talked to about 100 customers. And I distinctly remember the feeling of wanting to go and talk to a small business owner. And I think you can tell I'm a kind of an outgoing, extroverted guy. But I was literally getting up from the seat, walking over, turning around and sitting it back down. Because I was like, I don't know how to have this conversation. I haven't built anything. But the truth is that this is when it really matters. You have to talk to every single person you can. And yes, there are some that are going to be a waste of time, but so much good information is going to come out of that. Oh, wow, the time is really going fast. Okay, say no to knowing when to say no to customers. That's really important as well, because it's very easy to want to build everything for everyone. Don't do that. It's the quickest way to lose cash and not have a whole ton of customers. The next one is making a remote team work. So Wagepoint is 40 people, all remote. Yes, we have made it work. Yes, we are super productive, except for everyone's missing actual social interaction. So now we're actually building we're creating a little social experiment where we actually have we're calling it a clubhouse. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but essentially we're trying to create the social interaction elements of work at an office, but actual work continues at home because it's so hyper productive for people. So I'm almost out of time here, guys. In fact, I'm over. So thank you very much for listening. My name is Shrad. Come find me later.
Questions? I'll go first. What was the rest of your presentation?
That was it. It's more jokes.
Okay, what's the key value proposition? Because obviously you got ADP and probably a few others.
Ooh, we don't say their name here.
Yeah, but I mean, you can reduce it down to 10 seconds, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, that's an interesting question because, as I said, as you said, TechTO actually is a customer. And we got TechTO because we have a really awesome partner in Live CA. I don't know if any of you guys are Live CA customers here, but they usually have a ton. There you go. Well, I know you guys are. And we ended up, very specifically, we spoke to small businesses. We didn't care about large businesses. We didn't care about, there was like one time, I think someone from Accenture called me up and said, hey, we have a customer with 3,000, there's an employee base of 3,000. Are you interested? And we're like, no, we would work with 3. And so that's kind of the stuff, to being very hyper-focused, making sure that we really spoke to our audience, including accountants. That is pretty much the reason why we're where we're at today.
Hi there. Thank you for your presentation today. You mentioned that the downside about working remotely, well, the plus side is it's very productive. Downside is the social interactions. I know a company that is fighting with this, and they tried to make, as you say, like a clubhouse, but nobody was willing to go because that means you have to actually get out of bed or you have to commute. But also there are a lot of tax benefits to working from home, and they just could not make an office, but yet everyone is still very lonely and trying to find ways to make the social interactions work. How do you think you'll be able to get people to come together?
And I know, like putting on pants is a real problem for some people. And present company included. Yeah, it's an actual problem. It's a really, really important problem. And I spent 2 years thinking about this problem. So, for example, we wanted to do this office thing for some time. And we were like, look at everyone else. Look how cool their offices are. Their beams are orange. We should do something like that. But the truth is that there's only one real way to do it, and that is to allow 60 to 70%. The home has to still be the primary workplace. This social spot, and I use the word clubhouse, and I know everyone thinks it's something cool, but I really just mean the Mickey Mouse clubhouse. And at the end of the day, this is all jokes, by the way, I don't mean that. But at the end of the day, I think what we've done is we've got the buy-in from them before we've taken the space. And I think that is the most important thing, because it's easy to get new people to sort of come in and adapt, but the people who've been there and working from home for all this time, that's really difficult to get them to actually leave the house. So we only did it when all of them said, yes, I will do it for at least this much amount of time. Sorry, the last thing I'll say about that is, the other thing that we have done is, instead of getting a space for everybody, we've just done half the space, so that it irritates me less when they don't show up to work.
Thank you.